Games like Dead Space are one of the most iconic horror genres that you can think of in all of video games, and we already have one of the characters, one of several, that came into Chapter 20, Leon Kennedy, that went through so many different nightmares and creatures and battling the Los Plagas and Resident Evil 4 and just different, all types of different nightmares. He's been through it all. And Dead Space, whether or not it's true or not, I wanted to come out with my own video, and I know others probably going to be talking about it as well. But for me, I want to talk about my own ideas and not just discussing it. Maybe it won't happen, maybe it will. Even if it isn't true, more word. That's where I'm standing. I don't think it's going to exist as a chapter. But Isaac Clarke is one of the best characters that would be added into this game. And see, yeah, he has guns, he has different weapons and techniques and things like that. Leon, Jill, Claire, and Chris Redfield from the previously recently released Resident Evil chapter, they have guns too. But of course, you can't shoot the killer, you can't kill them or anything like that and try to fight back. You have to run around, use a flashlight, and try to defend yourselves with the flashlights themselves, or the pallets to draw the killer and separate yourselves to get some good distance during the chases and hope that they go after someone else. They stop chasing you and decide to go for a generator to stop his progression, things like that, and that's what we go through in this game. Not to say that Isaac Clarke isn't a good fit for this game because he would be a perfect fit for this game, and we all have different soul survivors from Ashley Williams from Evil Dead going through their own personal nightmares and different uh, issues, fighting the undead and demons, and monsters, and all types of things that you could possibly imagine in this game. Now, I put together like a little idea with a couple notes I wanted to just discuss, or just potential characters or maybe some things that they could do with this Dead Space chapter if they get the license to it, if it happens, because they already dropped the remake, which was a surprise to me during the EA Play live stream. Um, it's not Dead Space 4, it's just a remake, but it's going to be next gen only, which I like. It's going to be really good, so I'm sure it's going to turn out well. But obviously, the survivor would be Isaac Clarke, and a little idea just to throw him out there. See how he was. Of course, he's gonna not have his guns because, like I said, you can't shoot the killers in this game. He can probably use his stasis, his iconic ability that slows down time. Now, you can't use any superpowers in this game at all. When you see any superpowers, you can't see any survivors using powers. They use items, medkits, and toolboxes, flashlights, keys to open the hatches, all that good stuff. But you cannot use a gun or anything like that or any sort of special superpowers. But the stasis perk they can create. And my little idea, just to share with everyone out there, even though it's known for slowing down time, what if he could use his stasis perk to slow down his bleed out, the bleed out time when you're in the dying state, or maybe when you're on the hook? The bar won't go down as quickly. That stasis perk could be a very special perk, and even not even just that. See how Yui can interact with the pallets with one of her exclusive perks, being able to reset the pallet. The pallet, maybe he can use his stasis, but with the stasis perk, he can probably slow down the killer that way. When he as soon as he breaks the pallet or something like that, he can have some kind of interaction with the pallet, or maybe some kind of interaction with a vaulting location from a window or something like that. Maybe he can just have some kind of time effect or some kind of slow motion factor or something like that. He doesn't even really need any sort of all generator related perks. It can have something to do with time and just benefiting the survivor with bleeding out, and maybe he can make the charges on the medkit last a little bit longer. You see how they can play around with that kind of perk and some kind of ability with that and making things last longer and prolonging them? You see, just something like that. They could do something for his stasis ability for Isaac Clarke. But I can't really think of any other possible things that they can do because he has all weapons and things like that, like Leon and Jill and everything like that. Maybe he could set up his own little traps. He can have his own maybe exclusive traps he can put on generators just like Jill and Leon can as well. But I think that stasis perk would be a good idea to be implemented into the game so you can stay on the hook longer and just have people get generators stay on the generators and get them done quicker, and they'll have enough time to heal up and heal each other all at once to be able to make the rescue just in case the killer is camping or the end game timer is activated or something like that, with all the exit gates being 99. Just things like that could work. Now, for a possible killer, they have all different things like Nemesis, and he's a bioweapon. So I'm sure they can probably add some kind of alien related sort of killer. See, and I was thinking of the the antagonists or the creatures that you encounter in the Dead Space games called the Necromorphs. They are the main antagonists of the series themselves, and those different creatures that you encounter in space or during the games when you play them in Dead Space. The new killer can be the Necromorph. But even if they don't put a killer into the game, they can just put Isaac Clarke as an individual chapter, just like they did for Ashley. Ashley J. Williams was an individual chapter that they put into the game themselves, and then characters like Ghostface, he was an individual chapter himself with a solo, but he was a killer only. But things like this with Ashley J. Williams, they can do something similar to Isaac Clarke and then build from there with the Left 4 Dead series. But see how those iconic series, those are series you wouldn't even imagine to even be in the game. But these developers are creative and innovative. I'm sure they can make it work if it was to be true. This is just all if it was confirmed. It's not confirmed at all, and I don't think it's true. It's probably just another rumor that most people are getting hyped about, and just potential things that could possibly happen in this game. But the Necromorphs, they have those little blades. They can do a little regular basic attack. Maybe they can jump on you and just have a little jumping attack where they plunge and lunge at you or something like that. Almost something similar to how Demogorgon can lunge at you. Maybe the Necromorphs can do something similar to that, but maybe a little bit of a jump, or maybe some kind of a speed move. They can dash at you to really go in for a quick attack. Almost how the Blight, see how the Blight can just go in that rushing speed movement across the map. It won't probably be as fast as that, but it can be something that the Necromorphs can be using to use their blades to move across the map in rapid succession to go in for a quick basic attack. I'm not sure what kind of perks they can really put together for them or any sort of special abilities for them. And there's different types of Necromorphs in the game, so I'm sure they can probably make that happen and make that work when it comes to the creativity behind the developers. But I'm not sure what else they could probably put together, but the generators and just the maps, maybe some kind of a quick map idea just to throw out here is a space station map. But I don't know if anyone would like survivors in space on this space station. It'll be the first ever space survival map that they can have. The space station that Isaac explores, or the area he explores in Dead Space 1, that could be the starting point, and just have that be the map location. They don't even have to have a map. They don't have to have just a vote for killer and survivor. They can just have the survivor itself and maybe the map to go with it, or just the individual survivor or something like that. But maybe that'll be probably something cool to see. But I just wanted to throw a couple little ideas. But I would really like to see that stasis be implemented in a unique way without slowing down time or anything like that. Maybe something being beneficial to the survivors or something like that, to give them a longer life even when they're about to die at some point, whether it's on the hook or they're in a dying state on the ground bleeding out. It might be something useful, or maybe something handy that most players might want to change their builds a little bit for their loadouts, because with borrowed time, it gives you more time, something like that. He can have an upgraded borrowed time in a way. But it's so many different ideas to throw out there, and things to benefit, to give you even more endurance, make it last longer. It might not drain as quicker, you see. So stasis could definitely be comboed with that to be a perk like borrowed time, for example. But those are just some ideas. I don't know what anyone else would think out there as far as the Dead Space chapter.